Hey everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me here today for some Bible journaling. I'm using the new Fully Known kit, the Faith Art Box, and some of the Faithfilled digitals, the Fully Known collection from Creative Retreat Kits to do this journaling. And I am going to journal this first verse, 1 Samuel 16:7. So I do have a full unboxing video and I will link that. I'm going to be doing some journaling here in my interleaved Bible. So I'm going to put us on fast forward and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to start off by putting some color on the background of the page. And I'm using the straw khaki ink pad from Creative Retreat. It is a soft yellow. And I'm using my blending brush. It's a blending tool to blend that all around the page. I'm going around the edges and all throughout the middle. I want to do some tone on tone here. I want to definitely use this stencil, the Tracks stencil. So I used my Zig two-way glue pen to put some glue on the outside of it, and that will dry semi-permanent. No, temporary. And then I decided here on my page that I needed the color a little bit darker, so I would just pick it up directly with a baby wipe and then wipe that on. You can see I'm also highlighting the passage. Now, because I set that stencil aside and let that glue dry, now it's just a temporary adhesive, which works to hold it in place. And now I'm going to use that same yellow and that blending tool and apply some of the color through the stencil. Again, I wanted some tone on tone here. What I like about this track stencil is it has the implication that, yeah, I've been run over, I'm messed up, kind of like I've got track marks all over me. Not track marks, that sounds bad. But I've got, I've been run over because that's the kind of messy world that we're in. And I do like that effect. It would have been brighter if I had used a different color, more of a contrast, but I really wanted that tone on tone. Now I'm coming in and on some white cardstock, I'm applying some color just with that baby wipe because I'm going to do some stamping of flowers. So I'm setting that aside to dry because I used my baby wipe, it was a little wet. And now I'm going to use my stamping, use my alpha stamp, use my alphabet stamp, I cannot talk today, and spell out my title, which is going to say, "You look on the heart." This is what the passage is talking about here. Now, before I start, this is the Sketchy Alpha, and it is currently sold out. It's a new Alpha, and it's just been a hit, but she will restock it. So I'm going to stamp with my Versafine Onyx Black ink. And so the passage here is when Samuel comes to anoint a king for God. And he comes to the sons of Jesse. And there were several sons. I think it was 7, in fact. And he goes through all of them and he says, "Surely this is the one, Lord, you have anointed." But the Lord says to him in verse 7, "Do not look on the appearance or on the height of his stature, because I've rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." And he passed through all of those sons until he got to David. And it says that David was a man after God's own heart. Now, David certainly committed some egregious sins. He was definitely a sinner, but he was a man after God's own heart. God could see his heart because he looks on the heart and knew that David was wholly committed to him. And yes, when he sinned, he repented wholeheartedly. So on screen there, I use my white gel pen to add some accents to those flowers. And I really like how that just gives some depth and some life to those flowers. And then I'm also coming in and filling in the letters. It's hard to see here, but it just brightens it up some. I do end up stamping, stamping some other flowers in the Waterfall blue color, and also I just stamped some on the white cardstock, and you'll see that I add those in. The other colors were the Foxglove, which is that purple, and then the Powder Puff Blue. So I'm going to cut out these flowers, and I'm going to arrange them, but I'm going to make some stems. So I really like this bouquet of flowers. You can see that I added some white, and at the end, after this video, and I was looking, I realized that I needed one more flower, because right here I have an even number, and you should always have an odd number of your elements. So I do come back in, and you'll see it in some of the still shots, come back in and add one more flower so that it is, I think either 7 or 9 flowers, but it's an odd number. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my stems, and there are 2 different stem stamps in this set. And one of them here is kind of an outline, and I stamp it going one way, and then I can manipulate the stamp because these are photopolymer, they're pliable, and I bend it the other way just so that it looks different, and then that is more pleasing to the eye. It's more realistic, actually. And then I come in with the other stem stamp, and I'm going to apply that with the Waterfall color. But it was a solid stamp, and I felt like it needed this outline. So I come in with my pen and just draw some of the outline there. I'm going to follow up now with stamping those same things again, just to brighten up those leaves, bring in some more of that green color. So you can see how that works. And then I will bring in all of my flowers and attach them, and to just make a beautiful bouquet. So this passage shows that God looks on the heart. He sees the real me. He sees my whole heart, that even if I don't want to show it all to him, he sees it. But because he sees it, and because he fully loves me, I can be completely vulnerable with him. So I'm using this specific stamp. It's kind of the grunged element stamp, but I use it to make my grass. So I wiped off a little bit of the top of the ink, and I really like how that turned out. So it's cool that you can use stamps for different purposes, and that's what I did here. Now I'm going to cut out some little squares of double-sided foam adhesive so I can apply those to some of these flowers. Some will be lifted up with the double-sided foam, and then some I'll just stick directly onto the page, and that'll give some more depth and dimension to my bouquet of flowers. Well, my little flower patch. It's not really a bouquet, it's a flower patch because they're coming out of the ground. Need to add a little stem for a couple of these flowers. And then I come in with my watercolor brush, directly pick up that ink, and then apply that because I only need just a hint of that color. And I'm going to apply all those. All right, I'm going to add a few stickers here now to complete my page. This says my whole heart. And then I'll add, of course, a wonky heart sticker. You got to do that. Got to have a wonky heart sticker on my page. And especially because it talks about my heart. I add this flower over to the left side to bring the attention over to the verse. I'm just going to stick that on, and then I'm going to outline my verse a little bit more. I'm also outlining these elements here. Especially with this light color background and these soft colors, it helps to outline the elements. I like giving 2 kind of squiggly lines. Just makes it free. That's just my style. I always do that. Now I pick out the tab that says Seen and Loved, and it does have an adhesive on the back of it, so I stick just another piece of cardstock. I actually cut out a tab punch, and I apply that to the back of it so that it's not sticky on the back. And then I apply some adhesive, add a little bit of washi tape, and I pick that up because I want that washi tape underneath this sticker and heart. And that will just anchor it down a little bit, add a good place for that washi tape. And I'm going to finish off here I'll add a couple of hearts, a wonky heart and another circle heart up at my tab, and do my date stamping and a little bit of journaling, which says, Lord, you see the real me and you still love me. That's grace. And then at the end of my page, after I've done this video, like I said, when I added my one extra flower, I also come in and add one of the labels up at the top, underneath my tab, up there at the top, that says 1 Samuel 16:7, just to mark my verse. And that is it for my page. So if you have any questions or comments about this process or about this page or this kit, then leave them in the comments section. I'll be sure to check those. I do have all of my products linked in the description box. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much. God bless.